Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Chrissy. It's been a rough couple of weeks, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but I just want you to know I experienced some things that really gave me some insight into so many things, right? So I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but I think I have some interesting things to tell you about. So not this week, but last week, we took mom for a angioplasty. I think it's kind of a rotor-rooter kind of deal. And everything went fine. Everything was great. I was kind of worried about it because when you do stuff like that, you just never know what's going to happen. But it came out okay. She was there at 5:30 in the morning. She got let go at noon. We drove home. We went to get her out of the car, and we had an event. We don't know what kind of event, but I can tell you that getting her out of the car, she passed out, had a seizure. I'm not really sure what happened with that, because it's hard to, I don't know what happened, okay? But she was half in the car, half out of the car. She was, all of a sudden, her head went back. She went super rigid, and she started making this noise, right? No one I've ever seen pass out makes that noise. So I'm holding her head and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And all of a sudden the noise just stops, right? And there's no noise, there's no breathing, there's no nothing going on, right? And I am just like totally freaking out. And Dan is on the phone with 911, and it's quite a situation. So my mom stops breathing, and I'm like, I wait and I wait and I wait, and nothing, okay? So I just start smacking her on the chest, like really hard, slapping her face. Mom, 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 smack, smack, smack. And all of a sudden, she does that. Thank God, right? Thank God, okay? I get her to sit up. I get her so she's sitting up, and just very dizzy, but she's orientated somewhat. She can tell me who she is. She can talk. So I know she didn't have a stroke. Her grip was good. I did all the stroke things, right? So that wasn't it. Something was it though, right? So they came with the ambulance, and they got her and they took her to the hospital, and that was, praise Jesus, right? Like the feeling of just wanting someone else to walk into that situation and just take over, right? Because I am great in a crisis, but when it's over, like I'm not great, right? Like I'm not okay for a little while. So anyway, got her to the hospital, was telling the doctor what happened. And then he goes, and then I told him how I smacked her on the chest, right? And when she woke up, I'm like, oh my God, does your chest hurt? Because I like totally smacked her really hard. And she's like, no. So when the doctor came in and I told him what happened, or, told him what I did, he's like, so you did like compressions? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it more like hillbilly CPR, because it was like bam, 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 and the whole time I'm thinking, I'm in my head like, oh hell no, not on my watch. You're not going on my watch, right? Like it was the scariest damn thing I ever really that was scary. It was more than scary. It was shocking. It was traumatic. And it took me, and I don't think you ever get over it, but it gets a little less impactful. At least 2 weeks out, I'm better, but I'm not okay yet. And I think that's okay to say that, right? Like it's okay to tell yourself that you're not okay, because if you don't tell yourself you're not okay, then how do you make the rest of the world stop long enough so you can be okay? Does that make sense? Like if you go through something traumatic like that, that's why I couldn't do Friday, right? I couldn't come on Friday because I was mentally and emotionally not okay. but more importantly, I didn't have the capacity, right? And I think that sometimes, and I think I talk about this a lot, that, you know, just because we have time doesn't mean we have capacity. And when you go through something traumatic like that, because that's trauma, like that's straight up trauma, right? But I don't think we think about it that way, you know? And then I got to thinking about all the things like that situation. I couldn't help. I couldn't do anything, right? And watching Jeff suffering, and I can't do anything for it or for him. I can't fix it. I can't do any of the things. And, you know, mom doing that thing was just a whole nother feeling of helplessness that I've never experienced before, right? Like in 1 minute, like I got her life in my hands, and I'm like literally I felt like we could go either way, right? And I don't know, it just never was there before. And what I also really started to figure out was that every single person that we take care of requires a different emotion, right? And even when we're taking care of us, we require to have different emotions for ourselves. The ones that are full of grace and kindness, and to the point that it helps you adjust your expectations so that you can stop beating yourself up, because there's no room there for that, right? Like, yeah, so I'm sitting there in the emergency room, and I'm just kind of, you know, just wow. And I'm like, wow, she could have died. She could have this. Oh my God, I should have done this. I should have done that. And my sister just looked at me and said, why don't you just have a conversation with yourself about the fact that you just saved mom's life? Okay. I don't know if I did that, but I'll tell you, that story's going to serve me a hell of a lot better than I almost watched my mom die. Do you know what I mean? Because two things are true, but one story is going to serve me, and one story is going to keep me in a place where I can't, right? So yeah. So what I've been trying to do is not push it, meaning like don't put myself in high stress situations for the last couple weeks, for the last week for sure. So then I got to tell you something else. So they kept her overnight, right? So, ouch. So when she got, I just hit my knee. When she got discharged, they set up an appointment for her to follow up with the doctor. And of course, it was on Monday. And Monday was the day that I had made the appointment for my new tattoo. And I can't even begin to tell you how badly I wanted this tattoo. And that's my nature, right? My nature is to get my mind on something, and then I can't quit until it's done. But since caregiving, what I'm finding out is that I will say screw it for whatever's happening with me, especially if I got to jump a lot of hurdles to get to where I'm going. I didn't do that this time. I kept pushing and pushing. Like, the appointment was on the same day. I'm like, I think I can make it. And thank God the tattoo artist was very flexible, and it made it happen. But I didn't give up on it, and I didn't give up on me. And I think that it was probably one of the more therapeutic things I've done for a while. So I think I've talked to you about Let Them. That's the book by Mel Robbins, right? So Let Them is what I have right here. And then the second part of Let Them is Let Me, right? And that has been kind of mind-blowing to me, because it helps me understand that I don't actually have to rescue everyone. It's not my job to try to control everything that happens, right? So letting them, whoever them is and whatever that is, and letting me just take a step back and not put myself through all the things has really been quite mind-blowing, right? So yeah. So I'm not sure where I was going with that. Good morning, Renee. I've been thinking about you too. So what my point is that I took care of me, and the reward from that was exponentially, immeasurably awesome, right? And it serves a purpose. So this was very timely this week. This was Let Them, Let Me. And when we talk about suffering and all the things that we have to watch, It's let go and let God, right? Because I'm just going to remind us all that the biggest tool we have in our toolbox is loving each other through all the things, right? Like loving each other through all the things is what's going to get us to the end of this. And that's going to make for a great story that we can live with the rest of our life instead of some kind of stupid freaking nightmare, right? And let go and let God, it's not a bumper sticker anymore. Like that helplessness that I feel, and you have to pick your thing, right? But you have to pick something that helps you release yourself from the responsibility of feeling like you have to do something when there is literally nothing you can do but love them. Right? Like that story has to change somehow. And so anyway, like that is supporting your nervous system. And I think we have to remember that stress has a beginning, middle, and end. So understanding your cycle and where you are in that cycle, especially when trauma happens, is such a beneficial way to support yourself through whatever happens, because you're not going to forget about it. You're not going to get over it. You're not going to, like, you're going to be able to live with it, right? You're going to be able to, like, okay, it's not traumatizing me now every time I think about it. But you don't forget. So just like grief, you don't get rid of grief. You figure out how to live with grief. And I just think that there's so much grief that happens in this process. It's bizarre. It's bananas. So if we can figure out how to support ourselves through that, and if you have to let go and let God, or let go and let the neighbor, I don't know. But I'll have to tell you that's probably the biggest tool that I have in my toolbox this week. And so, and faith tells me that everything's going to work out like it's supposed to. Like, it's just gonna, like, there's nothing we can do. Like, I was supposed to be there with Mom, and all that was supposed to happen for some reason. I don't know what the reason is yet, but she's not gone yet. So there was a reason. And so maybe it's me coming here and telling you that, yes, there's trauma, lots and lots of trauma involved with caregiving. There's lots of drama, right? There's lots of new normals. There's lots of, are you kidding me? There's lots of WTFs, right? And then there's lots of now what's. And I think that now I'm ready for now what. And Mom's good. She's home. She's getting stronger. She's still Mom. She's Bucky. She's stubborn. And that's exactly the way I love her, and exactly what gets her through all the things, right? So I hope that was helpful. Boy, you just got to give yourself a break. And if you think for 1 second you're going to get out the other side of this, the same person you went into it like, you're not. But it doesn't have to break you. It can grow you. It can make you stronger. It can make you resilient, because honestly, you don't have much of a choice. So back to supporting ourselves, back to supporting ourselves in a way that's helpful, is minding that story. So my story this week is, wow, that all happened for a reason. We came out of it the other side pretty good. We loved each other through it, and now I get to sit here and tell you that you're gonna have trauma, and if you didn't realize it was happening, it's happening. So past that, then there's trauma triggers. There might be something that happens in the future that reminds me of what happened last week. I mean, that's just not if, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So anyway, I'm babbling today, but I just have to tell you, that was, whoa, that was beyond whoa, right? That was like, anyway. But we're fine, and we all got out of it stronger for it, a little bit more traumatized for it, but it's part of the deal, right? So here's today's joke. So Grayson came up and says, Grandma, do trees poop? And I said, oh, well, of course they do. That's how we get number 2 pencils. It's funny. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me today. If you think anybody could really use this, Mary, it's nice to see you. Renee, Barb, it's good to see you this morning. So be kind to yourself. Be gentle. adjust your expectations when you just got your butt whooped, right? Don't put yourself through anything more than you have to, because what we got to do is enough some days. So, but you got this. All you can do is the next right thing, and just take care of yourself by minding those stories. They don't have to be bad. You don't have to be full of guilt, and you don't have to wish on one hand and shit the other, right? So have a great day. You got this. Peace out, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.